All right, so now that you've gotten your robot to drive in a nice square and be fairly reliable, I want to show you a couple other little tips and tricks when programming. Now you notice you kind of end up with a pretty long program because you go straight, you turn until the gyro is 90, then you stop, then you go straight, and that just kind of goes right off the edge of the paper there. It gets really hard to see. You can come up here and you can zoom out so you can see more of your program at one time, but if you do that too much, then you can't even see what the blocks are because they get so small. So here's a little trick. I can select all of that with the lasso select, kind of move it around on the page to make my page lined up. Then I can take right where my program starts repeating itself, and I can break that off and pull it down here, right? Do the same thing again, break that off, pull it down here, and then I just need to connect those sections. So now if I zoom back in and get over to where my program is, I can still have the bricks pretty big and still see everything, but I need to connect it so it'll run all of these programs, and then I grab, not the block, but the little spool of wire, and I drag the spool of wire around and plug it in right over here. And then I do the same thing over here. Drag that one and pull it around. And one more time, I would do that to make a square. So this way my program doesn't run off the page, it all stays in one place. Alright, so go ahead and pause the video and go try that on your program. See if you can get your program to flow a little bit more clearly for reading. Once you've done that, come back to the video. Alright, so now that you've done your programming that way, I want to show you another way. So if you end up with a program that's just repeating itself over and over again, there's even a better way to do that. So I can come up here, take that repeated program and delete it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to repeat a section of my program. So I do that by coming over to my flow blocks, and I grab this loop or repeat function, and I'm going to throw that in there right after my start, and then all of my program, I want to put that inside. So I select all that and stick it inside of my loop. And what that says is it's going to run this program, and when it gets to the end, it's going to loop, which means it's going to come back and it's going to do it again. So to make a square, I would need to repeat that loop how many times? You probably said in your head 4. So right now it says unlimited. I don't want it to run it forever and ever. I just want it to do one square. I need to come in here and select my mode for the loop and say don't do it unlimited, infinity, but do it for a number of times. Do it for a count. Then I can come up here and just type in the number 4, and it'll repeat that loop 4 times. Once it's done with that, it comes out of the loop over to here. So if I wanted to, the last brick is a stop brick, so it'd kind of be repetitive to do that, but I could have it do some kind of victory dance if I wanted to. So I could come back here, grab a little block, throw that at the end, and I'm just going to make it do a little spin turn. So -30, -30, and a +30, and it'll sit there and spin for, I don't know, let's do 3 rotations. So that way I know it's done my whole thing and it spins at the end. Kind of fun thing to do. So try that out next. See if you can take your program and turn it into a repeating loop. Now remember, you'll have a little bit of challenges because you get this cumulative error. So as your robot goes and turns the quarters, if things aren't accurate, it can start to build up a little bit of inaccuracy and run off the track or run into the square. So you'll have to play around with that, change things a little bit, and get it so that it works for you reliably.